Welcome to the Arcade Couch, best place to join friends get gaming goodness each and every Monday. My name's Don Blight. Joining me on the couch this week, Ashley Hobley.
How you doing? Excited to be here on this very special episode. Definitely not filler content at all.
Very good. I'm glad to hear it's not filler content.
Must listen
and watch. Also here, Ciaran Marchant.
Guys, are we recording a podcast inside a podcast right now? I'm so fucking confused.
For anyone who didn't hear the part of the show that doesn't exist because it was an outtake, I fucked up the show. Sorry. Anytime I fuck up the intro to the show, it's mentioned, even though no one knows I fucked up other than Ash and Ciaran. But usually it's a 100% chance that Ciaran will make sure to mention it. And then the one week that Ciaran wasn't here to mention that I fucked up, Ash made it a bit to mention that if Ciaran was here, he would have mentioned that I fucked up. So it was still a bit.
You know what? I'm glad. It's still a bit. I'm glad there's some consistency on this show. Look, two things that we can plan on. Dylan fucking up the intro.
I don't fuck up the intro that often.
Well, enough for me to point it out and it for being a thing.
It's usually only if we've recorded several of the things and I'm just a little bit more worn out, which is what's happened tonight. So it's fine. All right, on the show this week, it's our big old annual E3 predictions episode. Although it feels weird to say annual because we didn't do it last year.
We didn't do it last year,
but no. It was supposed. It's other than COVID, it's supposed to be annual every year. E3. Plus, also, it's not just E3 predictions. It's like E3 plus Summer Game Fest or whatever the fuck we call this period of the year. Now, if this is a thing going forward where it's just going to be 2 months of bullshit every single fucking year, we're going to have to rename what this part of the year is called. But anyway, that's what's going to be happening. We have a few things to get through before then, though. So starting with the only review/preview thing that went up during the whole week was got a preview up for Sherlock Holmes Chapter One. So you can read my written preview up, and of course the link will be in the doobly-doo down below for it. I quite enjoyed it. Who got time to play that thing here? Hands up. Or say I. So everyone, very good. All right, cool. Okay, good. So this, for people that don't know, this is Frogware's. They've made a bunch of these Sherlock Holmes games. Crime Punishment was the last one they did before they kind of jumped off, and they did The Sinking City, which was a detective game but not a Sherlock Holmes game. That was the one they released a couple of years ago, in which it was like more open world and this sort of stuff, whatever. So now they've come back to Sherlock Holmes with Chapter One, which is a prequel to their Sherlock Holmes universe continuity or whatever you want to call it. And they've kind of taken what they learned from doing The Sinking City and they're combining that back into the Sherlock Holmes franchise. So the demo it took me about 90 minutes to play. I'm sure I didn't do everything you could have. I kind of did the main quest plus the first side quest or whatever. And I think there was other few bits and bobs you could have fucked around with or whatever. And maybe you could have got 2 hours of what was available in the preview access, but that was about it. It's obviously doesn't show you the very start of the game, but it seems like it's the main quest that you do seems to be the actual first main quest, because it basically starts with Sherlock and his friend John. Put a pin in that because we'll
not Watson.
But yeah, it's an important thing. He has a friend called John, not John Watson, who's at the hotel with him. So Sherlock, he is like 22, 23, something like that. I think he's like 21, 22, 23, like very young. He's returning home to, what the fuck is it? I should have highlighted
Cardona.
Cardona, right. So that's Ireland. He's Cardona. He's returned to this island, which is where he grew up, and he's returning here to bury his mother who's passed away, who you learn a little bit more about that towards the end of the demo, so I like to tease what's happening there. There's more mystery there to be unraveled or whatever. But the first mystery that you actually get to play in this preview is basically like there's some missing diamonds or whatever it was. There's been a murder. Who's telling the truth? Whatever. Like it's a pretty good showcase for what the majority of the game's gameplay elements will be, which is you got like sort of lots of different ways to tackle things. You got a few different abilities under Sherlock where you can sort of like detective vision people, and it'll give you like 3 keywords about them, like they like this, or like they have a wooden leg, or like some random things that may or may not be notable or whatever. You can at one stage you like detective vision to follow someone's like footprints. If you're investigating a crime scene, you can like sort of zoom in on a table and it'll say like, oh, you've got like the 6 things here to find. You can sort of look at the wall, and of course all these details are jotted down in Sherlock's diary thing or whatever. And he even has a mind palace, because Sherlock always has a mind palace, and you can connect different clues there. Ultimately, at the end of the main case, though, you can accuse someone Whether you can accuse the wrong person, that was worth pointing out for this.
Could you?
Yeah, you can.
Well,
you can.
You don't know if it's the wrong.
Well, yeah,
person.
when you're doing it, you don't know if it's the right or wrong person. But
afterwards, you don't.
Without spoiling who it is, because you're not. Embargo says we can't actually say who it is, so I can't even if I wanted to. But I did accuse the right person. However, even when you do accuse the right person, there's two different directions you can even take that storyline there. So there's definitely a lot of different sort of branching paths and directions you could take this. And even with the way I seem to solve the case, it seemed like I didn't find every clue I could have, or it seems like I could have got to the same place that maybe you did, but I didn't. I could have got there in a different sort of way. So that's sort of cool. Visually, I thought the game was quite good looking. It's still in development. So of course there was a few people, I saw a couple people wearing the exact same costume and a couple little visual glitches here and there, but nothing as a game that's work in progress that scares you away from it type of thing. And I'm pretty excited. I really enjoyed this. I've only ever dabbled in these Sherlock Holmes games. I've tried out one or two of the last. I've tried out Crimes Punishment PC for an hour or so, and I like it. I think I have all of them on PC. I've grabbed them. I was I want to play these. Just never get time. So this seems like as good a point as ever to get excited, and I really enjoyed what I played of this. I'm keen for more. Ciaran, what are your thoughts on the Sherlock preview?
This game is some good shit. I absolutely adored this game. Starting this game was very interesting in terms of the style. I was really I think the character that actually sells this the most for me was John, because there is things about John that didn't get explained until a bit later in the demo, and they weren't obvious until unless you read certain things that made that character make sense for me, and it was fucking awesome. Which I think really rounds off when you realize it's not John Watson and. A bit more about his character and explains a bit of his interactions in this whole game or in
there's definitely a lot that I wish we could discuss about that character, but it's unfortunately just
I'm trying to it is super tiptoey of I don't want to say too much but I think as a whole it was fantastic. I think my favorite thing about the clues, I love games that give you lots of grey areas and there's never always an obvious right answer. And this even goes down to even the clues that you're given for the case. Some of the clues can be interpreted in different ways. And it's based on you and your interpretation of it. When you're profiling somebody, it gives you multiple options of what Sherlock has summed up this character as for the evidence. So you could see all the bits of evidence on this character and make two very different assumptions about the person based off that information. And I really liked that. I like how based on your viewpoint and your view of the character is to what you are putting into it and when you're making these assumptions and making deductions throughout the game. I was really sad when I got the thank you for playing Sherlock Holmes screen, but Chapter 1 screen. I was man, I really wish I could keep playing. I'm so excited for this to get a full release. I believe it's just set for later in 2021 currently. But it is fantastic. I loved Sherlock. The fact that he gets called Sherry by John is amazing. I don't know why, but I really loved it and I adored that kind of relationship those two have. This is. I want more of these games. I've always wanted to play the Sherlock Holmes games. I think they've always been a little bit rough around the edges. And maybe that's one thing that has dissuaded me to playing them and jump into them until now. But even playing this now, I think I might quickly grab those and just start playing through all those at some point. Just because of how much I love this and enjoyed this one.
Ash?
Yeah, I liked it as well. Obviously, it's not AAA. I think that it's fair to say. Obviously, there's obviously there's missing animations and everybody doesn't look beautiful or the level that we've seen a lot of the AAA games, but it does the job. I like the characterization of Sherlock in this. John is interesting. I only got to solve the first murder and then the game crashed for me, and I'm like, autosave could have been improved. Could have been, could have brought me a bit closer to the point in which I was up to.
I'm going to assume that's something that'll be fixed by the full release. So
probably, but yeah, there is a satisfying element to figuring it out and connecting all the clues together, putting all the pieces of the puzzle together, and that kind of thing. And yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, again, this is like one of those games where you're like a series of games that you're like, oh yeah, that would be an interesting game to dabble into. But yeah, this seems like a good starting point for a lot of people to get into these games. So yeah, I'm keen to hopefully check it out when it comes out, whenever that date is. I don't know if we've got a date for release.
It's just
anywhere
it's just
2021. It's coming to
2021.
PS5, PS4, like all the Xboxes, PC. So you'll be able to play it wherever the hell you want. All of us were playing it on PC though, to clarify.
I did. There was one thing where you sort of make a deduction about a person's character. Like, you get given two different options based on the clues about a person, but I never got the impression whether you're right or wrong.
I think there is, not to go into too much detail, it is like, clear.
There's a Lord or whatever.
Yes, well, I think his is more logical deduction for yourself of... There's one of the options explains away a lot of the faults, and one of them just is a very logical answer for everything. And I think it's up to you to make that decision. I think for me, it was very obvious which one was the kind of looking for the best in a bad situation answer, and then looking at the real answer. For me, I guess personally, but I liked that. I like that it's not obvious. It's not obvious that you are. What you're doing if you're doing something right and wrong, and there's a lot of evidence that can go either way. Like there's a lot of stuff where it's like, well, this guy's also a bad person, and I think also once you make a decision, you're actually not stuck to that decision in terms of once you're making a decision on somebody to accuse or to deal with, you're not kind of stuck with how you think you're going to deal with them. The only other thing I thought was hilarious was I got lost during one of the sections, like one of the following sections, and I didn't realize you just had to like kind of use your detective vision to keep following a trail. And I got
stuck there for like a minute because I was like, "Where's this trail?" They kept saying like, "Follow the trail." I'm like, "Where is the trail?"
Where is this? Where is this? Like John just kept being like, "Just focus." And so then I was just walking around trying to talk to people, and then every couple of people I kept talking to, John would write a note in his book with a big thumbs down that was like, man, Sherlock just keeps annoying people, talking to them for no reason. I'm like, fucking hell, I feel judged. I'm excited. I don't know if either of you saw the difficulty options for this game. I think
I just left it on.
We were on like Young Detective, which is like that's the default one. That is you get all of the, when you look at like an area, it tells you how many clues there are in that area and everything. The next one up is everything stripped away and it doesn't give you as much help. And then there's one in setting called Mycroft, which is like completely custom, so you choose what tips and stuff you get or what hints and stuff you get.
Got to be honest, I was quite happy to play it the way Will's already played it.
Yes, also, yes, yeah.
It's like, unless you can, I would love to see I feel like this would be the perfect game to bring back like the hardcore technology and stuff they tried to do with LA Noire, like, because it's crazy to think that was a PS3 generation game where they're like, we're going to make a game where deductions are entirely based on having good facial capture, and it's up to you to sort of deduct how people are, that sort of stuff. Like, it was a really cool idea, and I played through that game down at my friend's place. We kind of like just took turns and whatever else. Like the overall gameplay of that game, I thought was kind of very meh. But like the concept and the characters and story and all that sort of stuff. So it's like, well, if you gave Frogwares more money and like they potentially went for, hardcore facial capture on a next generation technology and I don't know, like maybe that's the next game, I guess, but that could be.
I'd really like Xbox to give Frogware a bunch of money and be like, hey, come on Game Pass as well, and we will fund you some more and give you more of a boost and stuff like that. I think this game would be really good for that. And just a minor point on LA Noire, man, that game would have been amazing if they just cut all of the game out of the middle of it and just gave all that kind of stuff. Just cut that out and just give me the conversations and the detective work. And that would have been amazing. That would have been, yeah.
My
much better.
No, but they need to prepare you for the car chases.
I think I hated it.
Nope. No, thank you. Don't need that. It's like when we did the Last of Us review, where Dylan and me were like, man, they really thought parts of this game needed to just, have game in it. And we were like, man, this game had less game sometimes.
Yeah. It's a weird thing. Where you're like, I wish I was playing this less, or like something. I wish I was playing something else that was different gameplay wise. But yeah, my last note on this I was going to say is like, I've been trying to not this walking around the island, the city itself, whatever you want to call it. I think it's really cool design. There's like different types of, I guess, cultures and people there, which I thought adds a unique aspect to it.
I think it's different when most these games you're walking around Victorian London. And I think
this is set in 18 whatever, but it's like it doesn't.
Yes.
It feels like it's set in like a fantastical version because it's just like so many different types of people around and stuff like that. It's just very and the other thing, like without talking too much about John because we can't, but like I'm really interested to know where that goes for stuff for reasons we can't talk about that are shown in the demo, but also just because you can tell he's going to be a huge aspect of the game because you have all these little sort of mini, like there's even that side quest where at the start of the game he makes that bet on if you'll be able to deduct who this cane belongs to on the first try, and then if you do it makes a note on like John's relationship with you. It's like you won that bet, and like I know there's going to be a bunch of other stuff like that throughout the game where they'll affect your relationship with John.
Yeah.
Like if
how much John is, I get the feeling that John is your Sherlock meter in many ways of like, if you're Sherlock by true in nature where you're getting everything right and you're making the right deductions and you're doing things, then John will be very positive towards you. If you are blithering around and making lots of mistakes and talking to people that you don't need to talk to over and over and over again, you won't be that Sherlocky and John will be a little bit more down. I don't know how that changes his interactions with you because I didn't see that effect happen at all in the small part we got to play. But at the same time, I think it's really interesting and very cool. And also just a minor point, I thought the costume section was really fun.
You're going to have a bunch of different costumes that apparently Sherlock can change into throughout the game for different reasons and stuff. So
even to the point of like an old man makeup that just looks like an old man's face. It doesn't actually look like makeup. It's like, man, just change into anything.
All right, getting into the news for this week. Firstly, just a quick update on the whole Warner Bros. Stuff that we discussed either last week or the week before. I can't really remember at this stage, but PlayStation lifestyle rights following Warner Media's merger of Discovery CEO David Zaslav has announced that Warner Bros. Games, WB Games, will be a part of Warner Bros. Discovery, a pure play content company that also houses HBO, Warner Bros. Discovery, DC, CNN, Turner Sports, Cartoon Network, HGTV, Food Network, TNT, TBS, Turner Classic Movies, Wizarding World, Adult Swim, Eurosport, Magnolia, TLC, Animal Planet, and ID. So the long and short of that, in case you forgot what we talked about or you didn't listen or whatever it was, where it was like, was Warner Brothers, was WB Games going to end up in the same place as the actual main Warner Brothers? It was like this whole weird situation, and that's where we're at. It does look like the entire Warner Brothers thing is going to be kept together. So that is good because we was getting scared. It was going to be a weird situation where it seemed like one of Warner Brothers games are going to split from Warner Brothers, even though they had Warner Brothers properties. Like it was very confusing there for a hot second. So now it's good to know because it would have been quite weird to be like, well, they were making a Batman game, and can they still like are Rocksteady good to finish that? Like what's the go? So. Yeah, there's not much to discuss there, but just an update on that. Everything's sort of come together.
Sensible things were
sensible decisions were made, I guess, is the long and short of that. So yeah, it's that's good because it's exactly what we wanted to happen. Very good, good stuff. All right, so press start rights. This is just another sort of weird one, but Shannon of press start rights. Evolver Digital's Sludge Life has been refused classification in Australia. Another day, another refused classification in Australia. This time it's Devolver Digital's Sludge Life, which is unable to release on Nintendo Switch due to it being a refused classification. Whilst the game doesn't look realistic by any means, it definitely does look to be quite edgy in typical Devolver Digital fashion. At the time of writing, game is still available to purchase on both Epic Games Store and Steam. which I'm finding more ridiculous as we have these digital games refused classification only. So here's the other thing about this. I played this game like 6 months ago or more. I can't even remember. This game came out ages ago, free. It was free. It's free on Epic Games Store.
I'm looking now. It's in my Epic Games Store library.
Yeah. And does it say when it came out there? Can you see a date?
No.
Okay. So this game came out so long ago. It was free, not for a short period of time, but just straight up, it's free and has been free.
Release day, May 29th, 2020.
There you go. So I played it in May. That May. I remember playing it like a week. I never actually got around and finished it. I played it for like an hour or two. It was quite good. I was enjoying it, but I just never got back around to it. But how fucking weird. I still just don't. Every time I see these stories, I just get so confused about what the fuck our classification board system is about. Who it boards, like what system is. The game has literally been out in Australia for a year. More. Whatever. It's been out for ages. You could have downloaded it already. And the second they try and put it out on Nintendo Switch, refuse classification. It's like, you can't refuse a classification. It's already out. Like, we've all played it. Well, not all, but, figuratively.
Well, this is like disco all over again. Like, this is...
No. This is a game about a tagger, tagging, like, spray painting.
No. Like, I understand, like, the meaning. It's more the fact of a game that people already could access in this country gets released in a more commercialized way and then gets fucked because of it.
Yeah, so, for what the game is...
I was going to make a Mark Echo joke and it stood all over it.
The game is very weird in which it's like a semi-open world, I guess, like semi-open world area where it's like it's like a back sort of collectathon, but not really collectathon because you're just trying to get to spots to tag them, like graffiti tag them, and that's the whole premise of the game. It's just graffiti tagging. It has this sort of interesting, cool art style. It has like sort of an anti-cooperation, it has like a pseudo like environmental message like hidden underneath it, all these sorts of things. So like it has a lot of interesting themes and stuff amongst it. But yeah, it's very much like it's about spray painting. You can smoke cigarettes all the time. Like there's a button literally just to pull out a cigarette and smoke it. So I don't know, like it doesn't do anything. So I don't know if that's like comes out of it being bad or what. But yeah, it's a game that you can play, but also is not classified in Australia, at least when it comes to Switch. I don't really understand the point of the classification board at this stage, to be honest. But there you go. Another day, another dollar. Far Cry VR. Kotaku writes, Far Cry VR is a full body experience that's only at Australia's zero latency. So I wanted to point this one out for people in Australia. We currently have access to something else the rest of the world doesn't at this stage. And I think I remember bringing this up, or maybe I didn't, or I know I'd for sure read about it last year, but I remember when this was announced, I was like, oh, that's cool. I wonder if it'll come to Australia. And lo and behold, we're the only place that has it at the moment. So Alex Walker, Kotaku writes, remember Far Cry 3 and its psychotic antagonist Vas? He's back, but this time you can relive the experience in co-op as a full-body VR experience. And Australia is one of the first places you can try it out. Called Far Cry VR, dive into insanity. The experience is a spin-off of Far Cry 3 that's now playable at zero latency VR's 7 Australian locations. It's a half-hour long experience according to zero latency, and it starts with you in a prison. Vas and his cronies, like Far Cry 3, are on their usual psychotic stick, and they've captured you and a group of friends for sport. Your VR squad then has to fend off waves of enemies, but in typical zero latency style, you're running around a lot more than a traditional VR experience. This is, so in case you don't know, there's there's one in Melbourne for a start, but obviously it's closed at the moment. But not taking that into account, you've got one in Brisbane, Melbourne, Gold Coast. Oh, sorry, there's two in Melbourne. One's in Dandenong.
Dandenong.
Yes, there you go. Brisbane, Dandenong, Gold Coast, Melbourne, Perth, Sunshine Coast, and Sydney are the locations. All of them will have this Far Cry experience. Half an hour seems kind of short to me, but also I'm like, I very much would like to play this if it was a thing I could do, because it sounds like very fun. I mean, in general, I'd like to do any of these zero latency, like full scale room VR things, because it just sounds like a fun time. So it's like I don't know how much these things cost exactly, but it's like
it costs like $49 a piece
for half an hour. Fuck, I'll do it, though.
Yep.
I'll be totally over it. I wouldn't care. Nah.
Depends on the week. It depends on the sessions. You know, the weekend sessions are a bit more expensive
As far as
at $59 a session.
adds up, I guess. It's like, how much is laser tag? It's like fucking $20. You know, like it's digital for laser tag. Costs more money. Yes, this is pretty cool. Would any of you actually be like? Would any of you play Far Cry this VR thing?
Yeah, fuck it. You know, I know it's always you're always a bit iffy where you're like, man, attaching an IP to this thing, but at the same time, it's Far Cry. I couldn't care enough about it not to do it. So yeah, no, it sounds really fun.
Ash,
Yep. So I've actually been to zero latency before, but this sounds interesting, obviously, because you've got an actual. Before it was just like waves of zombies and that kind of thing. You have to kind of move around a little bit, and that kind of. Obviously, the big thing is you can move around, which is freely, pretty much.
Yeah.
Except, of course, you don't have any reference for where other people are, is the only thing. But this is interesting because obviously you're all looking at the same performance in front of you of like Vas and his cronies. Like I assume Vas is going to like make some sort of speech or something.
Yeah.
So I guess you're all going to experience that from like different angles and that kind of stuff.
I think you can see everyone else though. Like, I think the game puts
maybe it's been updated and that kind of stuff since I've
because I'm pretty sure the game like
maybe you could see each other. I can't remember.
Yeah, I was about to say because I don't think it's that hard.
It was just concerned about running into each other was a concern.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because at this stage I'm like, well, you know, if Melbourne, Lockwood, you know, hopefully everything in Victoria settles back down. We still get back towards PAX time. I'm like, well, fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, we got a full squad.
We got a full squad. Let's go do Far Cry VR when we're in
Let's
Melbourne,
do it.
and go check out fucking
And before we go,
Fortress as well, I guess.
We go with the three of us and Buddy, and then they're like, sorry guys, it's only 3-player, and then I have to stand on the side so you can have fun together.
They've got a 4-player mode in Knockout at the moment. Get your shit together. Come on. We couldn't play it the other night because you weren't there, so we had to play.
What, did you message me? No,
because it was like way past your bedtime.
You can book up to 8 people.
It says 1 to 8 players, 30 minutes shooter. Please refer to age ratings.
Knockout City said it was 1 to 8 players. All right.
No, I'm talking about zero latency.
We're talking about zero.
I know we are.
Yeah,
I've been lied to before.
Yeah, look, that wasn't my fault. Also, it's not like you paid for the game, so just calm the fuck down. All right. Yes, that sounds cool. And then the last news story before we get into the main topic of E3 predictions and stuff like that is let's knock out and say straight away what the news story I'm about to cover. If any of these are your predictions, get fucked. You cannot use them. That's not the rules are the same as they've been all the years. If stuff's already leaking, you cannot predict it. All right. So VG247 writes Borderlands spin-off on Marvel XCOM to be announced at E3 rumor. 2K Games' potential lineup for E3 2021 has seemingly leaked its E3 season, which means supposed leaks and made-up rumors are hard to miss, and it's often hard to tell apart. This one comes from Reddit, and supposedly a list of 2K Game E3 reveals and a couple of interesting surprises. So Reddit, you know, wishy-washy, whatever. However, nearly every major outlet's reported on this, so I guess that adds, you know, like where there's smoke, there's fire, whatever the saying is. Reddit user, ready for this one, swine_flu_Greg, claimed they got this information from a trusted source, I'm sure their uncle works at 2K, shared a list of unannounced projects at 2K Games, which a publisher will, according to them, announce at E3 next week. Almost every item on that list could be its own big deal, but the biggest has to be the Borderlands spin-off. It's called Wonderlands, according to the leak, or possibly Tiny Tina is one.
Did you just go to say Tina Turner and then got lost to us saying Tiny Tina?
Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Not many details about the game itself were shared in the leak, only that it's going to maintain Borderlands multi-class hero setup. 2K Games previously confirmed that new franchise for Borderlands developed at Gearbox will be released before April 2022. Reports from last month suggest that what's in development at Gearbox is a Borderlands spin-off. Indeed, as swine_flu_Greg pointed out, 2 trademarks for Wonderlands and Tiny Tina's Wonderlands already exist, not to mention Gearbox has a presentation set for June 12th/13th here in Australia. The leak also lists Firax's next project, which it says is an XCOM spin-off with Marvel heroes. Again, there aren't enough details about this Marvel XCOM, only that it may have famous actors voicing its characters, though it's not clear if that's referring to MCU actors. The last big reveal is codename Vault, a new early in development action game that the leaker suggests came from Mafia developer Hangar 13. It has supernatural elements described as Cthulhu meets Saints Row. So, how do we feel about any of those, Ciaran? Borderlands spin-off, Marvel XCOM type game, Cthulhu meets Saints Row, whatever the fuck that means.
I think Borderlands spin-off's great because Tiny Tina is a fantastic fucking character, and if anybody didn't get to play the Tiny Tina DLC from Borderlands 2, that shit was amazing.
I was going to say, what if it's just that expanded version of that?
I'm already cool with that. I'm already so fucking cool with that. Just like literally the opening boss fight of that fight where Tiny Tina makes the boss impossible and then she has to like retcon her own boss and make it weaker is shit that just makes me laugh out loud. Like it's just, there was so much character in that DLC, from, you know, having Butt Stallion shit out guns for you as the gun vendor, to, you know, just giving all the characters more moments to play, having the original cast of Borderlands sitting around a table playing Dungeons and Dragons together is it's just hilarious, and I just think I think that is an opportunity to expand on that and make that even better, and I would be all for that. Marvel XCOM sounds like a weird it sounds like a more strategy version of Ultimate Alliance in many ways. Like that's what it sounds like to me. It'd be kind of funny if they you don't think it's going to be... No, because I was going to say, it'd be funny if they just got the Square Enix Marvel game voice actors to jump in, but at the same time, I don't think they're going to get the MCU actors in to do voiceovers for this game. I don't see that as even a slight possibility.
They're running out of voice actors, really. If they're notable voice actors, I'm pretty sure all the notable voice actors are already working on the Square Enix Avengers one.
Yeah, the Square Enix Avengers, because Square Enix came out and just scooped up all like the kind of your faces of voice acting and just put them into that game already. So yeah, I think sure, XCOM's a fantastic game, and having a Marvel spin on it would be interesting. At the same time, it would be odd because I think one of my favorite parts of XCOM is the permadeath of XCOM, of characters, of just being able to lose characters forever.
Yeah,
because I think that puts a lot of value and a lot more like kind of tension in the gameplay, and I don't see them having that mechanic in a Marvel game.
Ash, how do you feel about these things?
Yeah, I'd be keen to, I never played Borderlands 2, so but I know of that DLC, and that would be cool if they did that. Other than that, I can't imagine what they would do with a Tiny Tina spin-off. Like, especially if it's going to be multiplayer, multi-class, you know, it would just be Borderlands 3.2 or something like that. Marvel XCOM, like you said, I think obviously you can't have permadeath, so I'm thinking it would be more... I know they use XCOM, but it's probably more like a...
Just means...
like a Desperados or something like that. Yeah. It's just a tactical RPG. No, tactical RPG. Which I'd be down for. You know?
I haven't played XCOM. Is XCOM turn-based or it's real-time?
It's turn-based.
It's turn-based.
Okay. Well, Desperados was real-time strategy.
Real-time, yeah.
So
Desperados was more like Ultimate Alliance.
Shadow Warriors or whatever. That was turn-based. I can't remember. With set characters. But yeah.
It'd be like Final Fantasy Tactics style.
Yeah, well, Final Fantasy Tactics is
people die in that.
Yeah, people
die.
Yeah, characters did permanent death, yeah. I still haven't played I haven't played Borderlands 2, I haven't played Borderlands 3, so fucking whatever. So yeah, my excitement factor there is pretty
why
limited.
you would fuck us on this is beyond me.
Yeah,
thanks a lot.
I played Tales from Borderlands though, right? I got the platinum in Borderlands 1, so you know I pick and choose what I want to do. XCOM, which I just read as a tactical turn-based Marvel-based game. I'm like, yeah, sure, sounds like it could be a potentially good idea. And what the fuck was the last thing again? Cthulhu meets Saints Row. I don't know what those words mean nothing to me. I don't really know how that doesn't make any sense. Cthulhu is a horror.
It's just
I don't get what that means. Yeah. I wouldn't. I don't.
You play as Cthulhu in a Saints Row kind of game. Just running around Cthulhu, dildos in every single tentacle. That's what I understand of Saints Row.
Yeah, I've never played a Saints Row either. So,
get Ash to, like, if you're like a game developer, if you got a game in development, please come and get Ash to do your PR releases for your games.
All right, so before getting into predictions, I'm going to run down and this article may change between now and the release date of this. Who fucking knows at this stage, because shit's always changing. But I'm going to run down, I've got an article up on explosionnetwork.com. Link will be down below, of course. This is everything I've gathered. I may be missing stuff. Who fucking knows? Of everything that is E3 or adjacent, part of Summer Games Fest, basically the period in which we're saying that you can do anything prediction-wise for them. We're going to be doing 6 predictions each in a minute. I don't know what you call this period, but we're saying it's from all of June and all of July. That's what...
Isn't it just Summer Games Fest?
No, because like E3... Yeah, I don't know. Because E3 is its own thing, which starts at the end of this week after this episode releases, like later this week. But also Summer Game Fest kicks off and starts technically before E3, and Summer Games Fest doesn't end until July.
So we just include games. We just include E3 and Summer Games Fest and say fuck E3 for trying to be individual, you know?
But there are also things happening in here that are neither E3 or Summer Games Fest.
Yeah, well,
it's interesting to see the wall between Summer Games Fest and E3. Like, people are picking sides. Like, I've seen some people get upset with Jeff Keighley for trying to claim.
Yeah, because like
Xbox's showcase
it's,
as part of Summer Games Fest.
Yeah.
The people trying to defend E3 are like trying to it's like freaking like trying to prop up a corpse and say it's truly alive and kicking.
Well, as we've discussed many times, we're about to find out if E3 can survive. So, but I'm going to quickly run down everything here so everyone knows. Again, if you want to look at this, the link will be in the bio, or head to explosionnetwork.com. So, firstly, this is happening. This happened already as was recording. I don't know if anything interesting came out of it, but there's Indie Live Expo 2021 Digital Showcase. They did it last year. It was mostly that's from the over in Japan. So a lot of stuff that wasn't super interesting to me at the time from Arc System Works and stuff like that, like fighting game wise or whatever else. But there you go. Guerrilla Collective Day 1 is happening after we record this so this is at 1 a.m. Sunday, the 6th of June. That one's happening. So Guerrilla Collective is back. Of course, they did their 3 or 4 days last year. I can't even remember how many it was.
3 days, I'm pretty sure. 3 days in a row.
It's fucking too many is what the answer
Yep.
was. So that's the first one that's happening.
That's when it was.
Well, yeah, it was fucking ridiculous. So that's happening again. Guerrilla Collective.
We all went crazy.
In case you can't remember what happened there was a bunch of indie games showing these things. So that's what I would expect out of this. Again, I said this is called Day 1, and that's what they're titling it on their website. However, Day 2 doesn't happen for like another week or two. So just take that into account.
Yeah, they spaced them out this time.
They're spacing them out. There's only 2 times, but they're still calling them Day 1, Day 2. Battlefield's getting a reveal event, 12 a.m. Thursday, the 10th of June, early that morning. That's not really an event. It'll probably just be like a 10-minute thing, possibly a trailer or something like that. Summer Game Fest Kickoff Live is happening at 4 a.m. Friday, the 11th of June. So this is Jeff Keighley kicking off Summer Game Fest once again. This is an actual show. He sent out an email last night or the night before if you signed up to his little mail list on the Summer Game Fest website. And it was like, hey, this is a thing. Like Weezer's going to be there. We already knew that. They're playing a song but apparently the song will be DMCA free, so Twitch streamers can use it in the future. So I guess that's cool. But otherwise, it is an actual event where there will be trailers and reveals. I don't know exactly how long it is. I'm sure we'll learn soon, but that's happening at the end of this week. Netflix Geeked Week Video Games kicks off at 2 a.m. Saturday. The 12th of June will finish 2 a.m. Saturday, the 19th of June. So the spread of these announcements, we're not exactly sure, but they're going to be talking about things including the Master Universe Revelation series, Resident Evil, Umbrella Academy, Sandman, The Witcher, Cowboy Bebop, and the Cuphead show. So some of those are directly video games related. Some of them are more like just pop culture adjacent, like anime type stuff, of course. So that'll be interesting. No video game directly stuff, but video game adjacent. Kosh Prime time, 5 a.m. Saturday the 12th of June. So Koch Media, they have the Saints Row thing. Apparently isn't happening. Dead Island could be a thing that's happening. You have the Metro franchise, of course. They got like stuff like that. So they're doing it 5 a.m. Saturday, the 12th of June. They're doing, don't know how long it is, but that's a thing. Guerrilla Collective Day 2 happens 1 a.m. Sunday, the 13th of June. Bunch more of indie games. Don't know how long it'll be. Ubisoft Forward happens 5 a.m. Sunday, the 13th of June. Don't know how long it'll be, but of course, I would presume, some Assassin's Creed and that sort of shit. Far Cry 6, I'm sure we'll get another trailer there. Gearbox is happening at a to-be-determined time on Sunday, the 13th of June as well. We don't know exactly what they're doing. Xbox and Bethesda are teaming up for a game showcase at 3 a.m. Monday, the 14th of June. It is going to go for 90 minutes roughly. They have said, I expect this personally to be the biggest show of E3. It should be the biggest show at E3. In my opinion, if Xbox fucks this up, I just don't know what to say at that point. Square Enix is having a show at 5:15 a.m. Monday, the 14th of June. So following basically directly onto Xbox and Bethesda's. What will they be showing? Don't really know. How long will it be? Don't really know. But of course, they did their first one last year where they did the year before, sorry, was the first time they showed up at E3 and did Avengers and that sort of shit. Future Game Show E3 edition. That is happening. So this is Games Radar Plus's thing that they started last year. They've done 2 since then. The one during E3, this is their E3 edition, will be hosted by Troy Baker and Laura Bailey. So that will be pretty cool. They're set to showcase 40 games during this showcase. Warner Brothers Games is doing some sort of showcase of a to-be-determined length, and it'll happen at a to-be-determined time on Monday, the 14th of June. PC Gaming Show happens at a to-be-determined time on Monday, the 14th of June as well. Of course, PC Gaming Show, I presume it'll be hosted by Day9. I just assume he hosts it every year until the day he fucking dies at this point. But usually, I, of course, focus on PC games, some reveals, maybe some exclusive trailers, that sort of thing. Razer's doing their first ever E3 2021 keynote that happens at 8 a.m. Tuesday, the 15th of June. Expect reveals of keyboards and mouses. I don't really know. Take-Two Interactive, to be determined time, Tuesday the 15th of June. Don't know how long it'll be, but of course they're the publisher head behind Rockstar 2K, that sort of thing. Capcom, to be determined time, Tuesday the 15th of June. I don't know, Resident Evil, something there. And then you've got Nintendo Direct, 2 a.m., Wednesday the 16th of June. Roughly 40 minutes, Nintendo said, of announcements related to Nintendo Switch software and most of the games being games that are releasing in 2021. The exact wording was mostly being games that are releasing in 2021. Sorry, I've written it wrong here. It's 2020, but it's actually 2021. That's my bad. Bandai Namco is doing a thing to be determined time on Wednesday the 16th of June. Publisher of upcoming Scarlet Nexus, of course, so I'd expect that to be there because that's out like the same day or the day after. I can't even release it. And that is the last of E3. Bandai Namco is on the last day. Nintendo's on the last day, E3, blah, blah, blah. So then we're into the last couple of things. And I expect, from here on out, I expect more to get announced because as I was discussing with Ash off air like last week or whatever, I was like, it's kind of weird for Jeff Keighley to be like, we're doing Summer Game Fest. And he hasn't really announced a bunch of stuff for it. And there's a whole there's weeks here where there's nothing.
He didn't really announce a lot of stuff.
No, it just happened.
Until
like
last minute.
Yeah, it just happened. And I expect that to happen for this as well because looking at the calendar where I've put in a lot of this stuff, it's just like there's a couple of weeks here where there's barely fucking anything. So I'm like, well, surely Jeff Keighley's got shit here. Anyway, Steam Next Fest is happening and that kicks off at 3 a.m. Thursday, the 17th of June. It'll end at 3 a.m. the 23rd of June. So this is actually just a renamed version of Steam Game Festival that they've done for like the last couple of years. It's a multi-day event where they have hundreds of playable demos available for you to download. They have live stream developer interviews, discussions, more that sort of stuff. It's being hosted on the Steam front page. It was really good last year. There's a heap of demos. I like when there's demos available for people to play and check out. That's cool. That Sonic Symphony Orchestra thing that they announced during a Sonic 30th anniversary stream last week. That's happening at 2 a.m. Thursday, 24th of June. If you want to check that out, it's free and you'll be able to watch that. And then we're into July. So PAX Online is actually happening again this year, even though us in Australia, we're getting it supposedly, knockwood, hopefully getting that real PAX event. But PAX Online is happening 16th to the 19th of July. I'd expect it to be the same as last year, which is, of course, a fuck ton of panels just over a 24-hour period. Although without Australia being involved this year, I don't know if it will be because last year with everyone in the world involved, it was kind of like America time zone people there doing it, and then when it rocked around to our time zone, so there was always like a 24-hour thing. So I don't really know. And then the last thing currently on the schedule is EA Play Live is happening at a to be determined time on Friday, the 23rd of July. This is, of course, EA's event that they've done for like the last 5 years, where they quit E3 and basically just did their own event like across the parking lot or whatever. Greg Miller's like been involved for like the last couple of years and that sort of stuff. So I expect more to be announced because July is sort of dry at the moment. And
you should expect a Devolver.
Oh yeah, I have to add that too. Devolver have announced they're doing something on I think they've set a date, they haven't set a time yet. So as I said, I'll probably miss stuff. I have to add stuff. This will surely get up. I'll be updating this throughout the next month or so. So keep it bookmarked or whatever. But and then
keep it hooked to explosion.
Yeah, keep it hooked, whatever. So the one thing, just to clarify again, why we're only doing to the end of July, I know because Jeff Keighley's doing Gamescom in August. But I'm like, well, that's Gamescom. Like that's a different thing. So if let's say this E3 Summer Game Fest period is like a 2 month, and then there's a little bit of a break, and then August 23rd or whatever, like near the end of August, that's Gamescom. Like that's completely separate. Like let's have a break of time between the two events. So it's just free.
So you're saying EA Play is the endpoint for this?
Well, there could be something after. There's like a week left or whatever. But I'm saying the end of July is as far as I'm going for this. Yeah. All right. Let's get into predictions. It has to be within this 2 month period that I just said. It could be from any of these events. You don't have to say what event it's from because I feel like that would just make it a bit too hard for any of us to get it directly right. So I'm not saying that anyone needs to do that. However, you cannot predict anything that has been leaked. So as I just said, if you've got that stuff, that's the one rule I'm making. Otherwise, go for gold. I'm going to go last because I just spoke a lot in the second to fucking catch my breath. So let's start with Ash, what is your first prediction?
My first prediction at the Xbox Bethesda showcase.
Oh, fuck.
Less than 25% of the games will be dated for 2021. I think.
I think you could say that about a majority of showcases that are going to happen this fucking.
Not Nintendo. I think obviously a lot of the Xbox's stuff is way down the pipeline. So, so Xbox gamers, you got nothing to look forward to.
So I have to do some maths on this to see if you get this run right.
He's going to have to do math.
No, he won't because 25% was generous.
Wow. Ciaran, what's your first prediction?
All right, let's go with the hot one straight away. Bayonetta 4 is just not mentioned whatsoever. It doesn't get a trailer. Nobody talks about it.
Bayonetta 4, okay. Bayonetta 4 is not going to come out.
Well, no. Is it Bayonetta? Fuck, there's only been 2? All right, no, my prediction's Bayonetta 2. I wrote 4 on my notes.
This is the new CD project.
My brain was like, man, this
CBD Project Blue or whatever.
It's been so long,
CG
right? Dylan couldn't possibly be waiting for number 3 still. No, Bayonetta 3 there won't be a trailer. There'll be fucking nothing for it. There'll be, none, nada.
I support this prediction.
Well, because I'm putting my money where my mouth is, I'm gonna use my first prediction to say that Bayonetta 3 gets a trailer during this period.
I don't know. They've already confirmed Babylon Falls. They're going to talk about it at Square Enix. So.
I know, right? As if they're going to be able to play to make that many games.
I have 2 months.
As Ashley said the other day, they are doing everything they can not to make that game.
I'm making sure my prediction is simple. A Bayonetta 3 trailer is somewhere. I don't care if it's 30 seconds. I'm still right.
Okay,
Bayonetta.
Right,
Bayonetta trailer.
So to word it, the Bayonetta 3 trailer is nowhere. Doesn't exist.
Ash, what's your second prediction?
Second prediction. What am I going to go with here? New Nintendo Switch. That's what it's called.
He's gone the easy one.
It's going to be called the new Nintendo Switch.
The new Nintendo Switch?
Not the all new Nintendo Switch?
No, just new Nintendo Switch, just like they did the new 3DS. And it gets revealed obviously during that direct.
Okay, well, so that has to be part of your prediction. Like, you can't get a point if it's revealed.
That's the name. The name is.
Oh, you got the name as well.
The name is part of the prediction, and then it being revealed at the direct.
Well, I'm saying it like if you'll get a half a point if it's revealed this week, for instance, because we're already in we're in the money. Like we're already in June, of course. So anything that happens this week still counts, but you're only getting half a point if it's unless it's called the new. Well,
new Switch or new Nintendo Switch.
If it's called the new Nintendo Switch and it's announced next week, you'll get a half a point, but you're not getting a full point unless it's actually revealed during the Nintendo Direct.
I feel the heart kind of confident.
Ciaran,
so much buzz around it.
Ciaran, what's your second?
And that seems like a name they'd go for.
You don't sound so confident, to be honest, but that's fine. Ciaran, what's your second one?
During the Xbox event, Psychonauts 2 gets a release date for, let's say, October 2021.
Okay. I have a Psychonauts 2 one yet, but I don't know if I want to. Mine's slightly different, but for the sake of not just making every prediction I do, change on what you say.
A
contradiction? Yeah.
Contradiction. Let's just go with Starfield gets a Q4 2021 release date during the Xbox Bethesda showcase.
What? That's
crazy.
Insane. That is. Look, you know what? I will no shit. You would. That would fuck whatever Ash just predicted. That would dunk on Ash so hard if that was so true. My God, that'd be so good. That's
just the one out of all of them. That would be fine.
I don't care. That's a big one. That's a very big one. That's actually got me excited. That's like Fallout 4 levels of excitement.
I mean, it could happen. There's not a 0% chance.
It is a possibility.
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
It would be huge for them. And I as I saw teasing before, I feel like this Xbox Bethesda thing is the biggest thing at E3. And Xbox has to announce games. And they have to announce games that are coming next year, that they're happening this fucking year, because they've got nothing on that console. So Starfield, even if it was the only thing happening at the end of this year for them, would be big enough. So
yes,
I'm going for it.
I'd agree with that.
Ash, what's your third one?
My third one, I'm going to tread more in towards my realm of things. We're going to get a trailer for Netflix's Arcane, which is the League of Legends animated special show, and we'll get trailer and date.
Trailer and date for League of Legends anime.
Yeah.
Okay. Possible. League of Legends wasn't mentioned in that poster they put out.
Yeah, because it's going to be a surprise.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
You got a whole week.
You got a whole week. Yeah, that's true. Ciaran, what's your third one?
Battlefield's new game, or Battlefield 9, or whatever they want to call it, is announced as day one for Xbox Game Pass.
Wowza. See Ash's head straight away just starts shaking.
Ash's face every time.
Yeah, it's an EA game. They don't put their games out for free on EA Play day one, so I don't think so. But I'm just saying they've got
a partnership with Xbox through Game Pass now.
If you subscribe to,
but they don't put their games on EA Play.
I thought they did have a thing on EA Play where
no, you do.
They give you a time demo or whatever, but they don't.
No, you do get
10 hours
for. No. That's only for that's pre-release. That's for playing the game beforehand, and then you get the game as well. Used to. I haven't done anything EA wise for that in a very long time.
No, I'm pretty sure. Fallen Order, you can play on EA Play day one.
I don't know. Maybe I know the past Battlefield. I think they had a time thing on it. You play for the first 10 hours or something.
Yeah, which is I'm pretty sure that's how I played Madden or something. Though.
Yeah. So I don't know. Anything's possible. But anything is possible. All right.
Third prediction.
My third prediction. Let's go with sometime during Summer Games Mess, Jeff Keighley reveals whatever Valve is doing. He reveals something to do with Valve, and I'm saying it's probably a VR thing.
Wow. This is very broad.
Wow, this is a broad prediction. This is
listen,
Jeff Keighley.
We've got to do an update to Steam.
Look, I feel like I don't have to get very specific and be like they announced Half-Life 3 because that would be fucking dumb.
No. Do you have to? No. Are you pinning the VR thing on the end of it?
Yeah, I'm saying I need it to be VR for a full point, but I'm wording it so that I get half a point if Valve announces anything. That's how I'm wording it.
That's fair.
You get it? Trying to make sure I can
go
for these 0.5 points, half points. All right, Ash, what's your fourth one?
So Shadow Drop of either Riders Republic or Roller Champions. One of those will get Shadow Drop.
I forgot Roller Champions.
I don't think Riders Republic. I think Roller Champions you won't have a chance, but I don't think Riders Republic gets Shadow Drop. Fuck no.
I completely forgot that was a game until you just said it, to be honest. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
It didn't only just get announced. Like it got announced.
that was like 2 years ago, I think.
No, it wasn't. It was last year. wasn't
Which
it?
one?
Roller Champion.
Riders Republic.
No,
I think that was the last.
Riders
No,
Republic
I meant
was
Roller
last
Champions.
year.
Wasn't that like 2 years ago?
Roller Champion was last E3.
Yeah, okay. Like actual E3, yeah. Oh, yeah, because it didn't happen last year. Yeah.
Well, because E3 wasn't a thing last.
Yeah.
All right. Kieran, what's your fourth one?
We get a trailer for Resident Evil Village DLC.
Mm-hmm.
So following off the heels of the success of that game, there is a new trailer.
They're
for
bringing back
DLC.
Lady. What's her name?
I was going to say,
Dimitrescu.
Big Boober Lady will probably somehow featured in that trailer.
I highly doubt it because I saw her go out in. I mean,
Look, she went out.
She went out.
The undead can become undead.
They'll
again.
find a way. They will find a way to make her a thing again.
I suppose anything is possible. What have I? I'm trying to make sure I'm not like I've got a couple here for like Xbox and whatever else. I'm like, all right, let's just all right, let's go with this one. This one's kind of saucy, I guess. This one will piss off people. Elden Ring is only seen in Twitter mentions and not spoken at all during this 2-month period in any capacity at all.
What did
Wow.
Bandai Namco going to do without that game?
This is my
Bandai Namco-
prediction equivalent to your fucking Bayonetta one. So
No, but just like logically speaking, what do Bandai Namco have to speak about that they have their own showing for? That doesn't feature Elden Ring. Like, what does that show look like without that game?
told you, Scarlet Nexus.
Because I think
Scarlet
they do
Nexus.
something like
Bunch of anime shit, probably. Bunch of weird
Little
games.
Nightmares. Talk about that.
Yeah, DLC. I don't know.
More anime games.
Love them anime.
Digimon
games.
and
really
Zoids.
you're gonna have like a whole showing for that. You're not just gonna sell
Yep.
off.
Because everyone's going to tune in to see if Elden Ring gets anything mentioned there, and then there's nothing, and it's just a bunch of fucking
And they'll
weird
be
games
very
the entire
upset.
time. So
Little trend.
Just that'd be very odd.
love to see it.
Just building the hype. That's what they're doing.
All right, Ash, what's your fifth one?
Listen, we had a black screen
Okay, here we go.
Oh, I
And
know
then
where this is
green
going
lights?
already. This is.
right in the middle. 3 green lights,
I get
and then
I feel like we've been here before.
and then you lift up the visor and you look at it's a mirror. No, yeah, it is a mirror in front of you, and you see Sam Fisher's face in front of you.
It's
It's the first showing of Splinter Cell VR.
yeah, okay.
So, since Splinter Cell VR shown sometime in this 2-month period.
Your prediction went from
That'd be pretty-
wildly
I'd
crazy
be-
to plausible.
No. His prediction went from we've tried this production every year for the last like 3 years.
But this game has actually been confirmed as something they're working on. So,
Yes, that is true.
It's just not, hoping for the best.
This is true. All right, Kieran, what is your fifth one?
We get a full story trailer for Dragon Age, for the new up and coming Dragon Age game, with full we've only seen like kind of weird art.
We've only seen like teaser things, so
teaser stuff. Like this is a full meaty story trailer, like we got for Final Fantasy 16 last year, where there is more characters shown and teased at what the story actually is and everything.
All right. Breath of the Wild 2 is releasing in Q1 2022 with enhanced graphics on the new Nintendo Switch model.
Ooh.
That's what my fifth one shall be. I'm not. By the way, my prediction is not saying the title of the Switch model is the Nintendo Switch. I'm just saying whatever the new Nintendo Switch model is. So it's not part of my prediction to name the Switch as well. My prediction is Breath of the Wild Q1 2022 with enhanced graphics on whatever the Switch is. Get a half a point if they announce Breath of the Wild 2, at least for 22, I guess. Ash, what is your final prediction?
what am I going to pick?
Yeah, I've got a
out of
few
these?
less. It's crazy.
Yeah. We're going to get to we're going to say these afterwards and then
Yeah, we'll run through what we've got
Okay,
left over it then.
I will say Detective Pikachu 2.
Fucking
The video game.
okay.
Date and trailer sometime within the 25th anniversary period of Pokemon.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. They never bothered porting over the first Detective Pikachu to Switch like they should have, given the movie's success.
Yeah.
But, sure. Ciaran,
Sure.
what is your last prediction?
YouTube explodes with
Fucking
analytical breakdown reaction videos after Hideo Kojima releases another bullshit super vague teaser trailer.
So YouTube actually has to explode for you to get a point?
Not figuratively explode.
Okay.
You know, not
I mean, I'm
physically.
pretty sure there will be a lot of analytical videos if Kojima put anything out.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's why,
Not part of your
that's why it's
prediction, but where do you think Kojima would show up to do such a thing?
Who gives him the most money? Like, I reckon naturally you would say PlayStation.
After all those
but I
rumors of
reckon-
him going to Xbox and stuff we talked about?
Well, that's the thing. That's what the point is. Unless the rumors about Xbox have truly happened and they like backed up a dump truck of money on his like front yard and just dumped it all on him, then I would see it at Microsoft. I don't see it happening anywhere else. Like, it's one of those two. I think it has to happen on.
All right. What have I got left? I'm trying to make sure I'm not like picking a very similar or from the same event. All right, let's go with EA Play. We finally get a first teaser trailer or proper trailer or whatever it is. Some sort of actual trailer that's not just people talking to a camera and saying it's a game that exists. Skate 4 or whatever its title. Some sort of trailer for the fourth Skate game.
The Infinity.
Yeah. Because it's been... I know we had COVID, so obviously I still would say that the game's quite a ways away, but I'm hoping it's still got some work on last year and that we can get a Skate 4 or whatever it's called. Skate Legends. Tony Hawk's Skate. Ooh.
Oh, that'd be pretty. That'd be massive. It would never happen, but...
Make that a thing. All right, that's my final prediction. All right, I have about... I think I got like 6 left here. So, Ash, do you want to run through... These don't count, but what else you had left there?
Okay. Another look at Final Fantasy 16. Metroid Prime 4 teaser. I had Skate 4 trailer. New Monolith Studios game. Not Mordor related. That would have been interesting. And then fans freak out when Phil Spencer has a random figurine in the background of his video.
Well, I hope he's not in that bedroom just to fuck with us all. Ciaran, did you have a list of ones left?
Yeah, I have some. I had Hellblade gets an October 2021 release date. Halo Infinite gets a 2022 release window that they probably won't stick to.
That's not true.
Delay
If that game,
Wow.
if that game ain't coming out this year, just fucking send it out to pasture, you know?
Fallout New Vegas gets a remaster.
Infinite is the
Announced.
development process.
Yeah.
The development period.
We get a Final Fantasy 16 full gameplay trailer. Final Fantasy Remake Part 2 teaser trailer. And Baldur's Gate 3 Act 2 content is announced and released in 2021.
Ooh.
All right, I had left Mafia 4 gets a reveal trailer, which is antithetical to that apparent leak about Hangar 13 working on a Cthulhu Saints Row thing, but fuck it.
Who knows?
I want Mafia 4. I had Wolfenstein 3 cinematic trailer with no release date or console information. I had the console information there because everyone keeps saying like, oh, Bethesda, Xbox, like some of the other games that they'll still release them on PS5, and everyone thinks that game's like Wolfenstein. So I was going to put my money where my mouth is and say,
Just move on.
Yeah.
Bethesda just
yeah,
doesn't matter anymore.
my Psychonauts one was Psychonauts 2 gets a August to September, somewhere around that period release date, and Jack Black is now in the game because reasons. Elite.
Wasn't he?
That makes so much sense.
I don't think
Did
he
he
is.
get added to the game?
Did he?
Yeah, no, he's already been added to it.
Okay, well then
Because
I predicted something I
because
didn't know.
The only reason, no, because it was in a Jables vlog of him going to see Schaefer and them doing some stuff for Psychonauts 2.
Okay, well I missed that, so
Yeah.
that would have lucky
Yeah.
I didn't use that one then because I was
And I think
unknowingly
it was actually
Of course,
like
we're out
a
on your
full.
shit.
yeah. unknowingly predicting stuff that's already happened. Elite Controller Series X revealed it's more of the same stuff, but it now has a share button, and it's coming out in 2022. Donkey Kong game announced, and Hellblade 2 gameplay during the Xbox show, no release date. So they were my final predictions. Well, we'll find out who's right. I mean, we've got to wait. So did anyone else do it? No, yeah, Ciaran did EA, I did an EA, Ash didn't do an EA. So, I mean...
no, I didn't do
an EA. So we've got to at least wait all the way until the end of July to find out who wins and loses these ones, I guess. So, and what else could happen. So, yeah, it's the longest time we're going to have to wait to see his predictions pan out to be correct for any of these sorts of things. But there they are. And that'll do it for this week's episode of Arcade Couch. Let us know your predictions, questions, comments, concerns. If you think Bayonetta 3 is coming out, if you think Elden Ring is going to be seen at E3.
Or Bayonetta 4.
Or Bayonetta 4. Maybe they're just skipping.
Maybe they throw a curveball.
They
just skip one. They're like, fuck it.
Just to fuck with
fans.
But
you have to like work out.
Bayonetta 4 everyone.
But in the chronological order of its lore, Bayonetta 3 did happen. Nobody knows what happened in that game, and you have to work out what happened while you're playing Bayonetta
4. 4's story is trying to figure out what happened during Bayonetta 3 and unlock that game.
And then it's like a meta conversation because really you're trying to work out what happened in the development cycle of Bayonetta 3 to take this long.
It's a game about trying to get these developers to work.
It hasn't been that long. We waited way longer for Kingdom Hearts 3 and Last Guardian and whatever the fuck else. It hasn't been that long. Cyberpunk was announced fucking 20 years ago. And look how that came out.
That was announced at the same time.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, so why are you getting your hopes
Google
up?
when Cyberpunk was actually announced, like with the fucking original trailer. It was announced like fucking ages ago.
Yeah.
What the fuck was I doing? I was out trying to show. You can find us all on Twitter by heading to explosion.com/Twitter. You can join our Discord by heading to explosion.com/Discord. And if you like this episode and thought it was worth $1 or would like to support us in any other way, you can head to explosion.com/support us to donate as little as $1 to our Ko-fi page and or buy a t-shirt and that sort of stuff. It gives you a hint to go rate the podcast on Apple Podcasts because that helps as well. Quick housekeeping, upcoming week. I'll just say we should have a couple extra bonus episodes, not for every E3 conference, but for the major ones. We should have an extra couple throughout the not next.
We're going to cover all 300 games in this Indie Expo, right?
Yeah, no, we're not. So there'll be a
Ash, you're going to play all 300 games.
You can do it. You can play all 200 fucking demos during the Steam Next Festival as well. So that should be happening next week. Yeah, trying to think timeline was that's the thing. So anyway, until whatever next time you listen to podcast, same time, same couch, at least for our weekly Monday episodes. See you next week. Bye.
Dylan, I think your delivery on that outro could have been a little bit better.
It's because you interrupted me and I lost my fucking pace. It's like you interrupted me like I was swimming through a pool and I had like perfect action on my backstroke happening or whatever the fuck, and you fucked me.
You are Goku and we are the weighted clothing that is making you stronger.
Hey, don't forget you can subscribe to the show wherever you're currently listening, and you can drop a review if you can. Find more great shows like this and more content over at explosionnetwork.com. And please consider supporting us for as little as $1 over on our Ko-fi page by heading to explosionnetwork.com/support. Thanks for listening.